Then I have my chaste tree blooming. Chaste tree is also known as monk's pepper or vitex, and usually it's used purely medicinally. It doesn't taste that great. And what will happen is that after these blossoms fade, little berries come. They look like peppercorns. That's why I think it's called monk's pepper. And usually, at least right now, contemporary times, it's used to treat any kind of hormonal irregularities that a woman might experience, PMS, breast tenderness, perimenopausal. It can just kind of, it doesn't have hormonal qualities itself, but it helps balance out the hormones. And to make a tincture of any kind of herb, you can get some 100 proof vodka, and with the chaste berries anyway, you take a jar and you fill it up about 3/4 full of the berries, and then you cover the jar to the top with the vodka or any kind of neutral grain spirit that's got a high alcohol content, and then you leave it for 6 weeks and then strain it, and then you take it, you know, by the drops. A general dose, I think, is like 20 drops if you buy the kind at the natural food store. But it's kind of, it's fun to be able to make your own medicinals. So that's my chaste tree. And it's a beautiful plant, too. You can see that the blossoms are really lovely. I mean, you can cut them and bring them inside for a bouquet, although they don't smell all that great. But the plant gets big. I thought it was going to be a small plant and planted it in my one of my side planters, and now it's about almost as tall as I am. It's about 5 feet tall and again that wide. And when I was in DC, one of the last couple trips I took back, in the sculpture garden there was a chaste tree, and it was about 15 feet or more, maybe 20 feet tall, so they can get big, and I'm going to have to be pruning mine. Then we have mint. This is chocolate mint, but any kind of mint is always great to have in the garden to use. I like to use mint in a lentil salad with parsley and green onion, and then of course for teas, anything like that. It'd be good to make the vinegars with. I suppose if you wanted a really strong, I've never seen mint tincture, but I suppose you could do that if you wanted to. Something else that's fun to do with mint and the lemon verbena, you can use them both along with some green tea and make a nice summertime iced tea. And good with a little bit of honey, or even without. And then of course there's rosemary, which is a wonderful herb for cooking. I just like that. Whenever I go past an herb, whether it's in my own garden or when I'm walking out on the street and see somebody's got it, I always love to just rub my hands on it and then smell my fingers. It smells so good. But rosemary is good in all sorts of baked things, of course, any kind of Italian marinara sauces. It would be good for vinegar as well, and a honey. I mean, it's interesting to sometimes combine a savory like this with something sweet. It's a very interesting flavor. And then I have sage. I have garden sage, and garden sage you can make vinegars with. You can make tinctures, because sage, well, there's a few different things that sage can be used for also in relation to hormones. But again, if you Google it, you can get more information than I have off the top of my head. Or sage honey would be great. Sage is also really good if you make black tea and put a couple of leaves of sage in there as well. It gives it a really, really nice flavor. And then, lastly, I have white sage, which is not an edible as it is, but it's what's used in smudge sticks. And I have never made smudge sticks, so I can't give you the exact directions, although I did bind a bunch of it together and I'm letting it dry. But I do just let it dry, and sometimes if I don't have a fireplace in my house, sadly. I'd love to, but I don't. But we have a little fire pit in our patio, and I'll let some of the sage dry and just throw it on there. It's a really nice smell, kind of meditative, and I know a lot of people use it ritually, and I'm sure there are lots of characteristics that it's known for that I don't know off the top of my head. So that's it for my herbs from my garden. I encourage everybody to get perennial herbs and plant them. You can even plant them in pots. They're great to have around. They're hard to kill. They've got, you know, of course so many of them have medicinal qualities, but there's always debate about what is actually what as far as that goes. But for me personally, I just love them because they add that sort of rich, sensual aspect to life that's nice to enjoy. It comes from nature. It's like a gift, you know, and it's a fabulous thing to take advantage of. So get a little plant, rosemary or sage or lavender, and, you know, grow it and smell it, use it. I guarantee it'll make life a little bit happier and more joyful. So that's about it. I hope everybody is having a good Friday and have some nice plans for the weekend. I won't even mention the weather. It's more of the same. It's a teaser. We get sun every once in a while. The warm days will come at some point. But I hope you enjoyed that, and I've enjoyed telling you a little bit about my herbs.